From Amateur Radio Newsline Report, number 2,234, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, August 26th, 2020. Encouraging news for hams who prefer to use the digital modes. Band plan talks have begun on an international level.
Now that's teamwork. The three regions of the International Amateur Radio Union are collaborating on HF band plans that are designed to accommodate the exponential growth in ham's use of the digital modes, most especially FT8. This effort closely follows a recent move by the ARRL, which has asked the Federal Communications Commission to allocate a portion of the HF bands specifically for digital use. The three IARU regions have established a band planning committee with representation from each region, which is working to establish allocations that are aligned with one another around the world. There will be a review of the different digital modes using HF, and members will study how these modes can share the limited space in the spectrum. IARU Secretary Dave Sumner, K1ZZ, noted that the cooperation of the three regions in a dedicated effort to coordinate band planning is unprecedented in the history of the organization. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Andy Morrison, K9AWM.
The Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico is trying to solve the mystery behind the accident that knocked the reflector dish off the air this month.
More than a week after a structural cable snapped and damaged a reflector dish at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, halting all observations, the mystery remains as to how it happened. The Space Research Facility's work concentrates most prominently on deep space, planetary exploration, asteroid characterization, and gravitational waves. It is also the home to the Arecibo Observatory Radio Club, KP4AO. According to several press accounts, the broken cable created a 100-foot-long hole in the giant reflector dish, shutting the National Science Foundation facility and halting all operations at the observatory, which is managed by the University of Central Florida. Shortly after the cable broke, on the 10th of August, the UCF said that it would take about 2 weeks before the observation activity could return. A spokeswoman for Francisco Cordova, the observatory's director, told Newsline that the team assigned to assess the cause was still studying the damage. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Kevin Trotman, N5PRE.
In New Zealand, Summer Field Day is expected to be a big deal for young hams in February.
When is it actually considered fun to get on the air? When band conditions aren't quite the best? When it's part of a youngster's on-the-air exercise? In New Zealand, Iota Oceania is busy preparing for the Jock White Memorial Field Day event to be held in Wellington at the Kaitoki Camping Ground early next year. Organiser Benjamin Isaacs at L2BCI said that the HF contest is named to honour the former NZART contest and awards manager who is now a silent key. The challenge facing the young hams, who'll be participating on the 27th and 28th of February, will be to work as many other ZL stations as possible and to listen for any potential contacts into Australia, even if conditions are poor. The call sign details are still being finalised, but you can be sure you'll be listening for the last four letters, which, of course, will be YOTA. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for 4 decades and counting at arnewsline.org. With Andy Morrison, K9AWM, Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, Jim Meechan, ZL2BHF, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe. I'm Don Wellbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.